In this video, I'm going to teach you a 5-star formula for learning and grasping things faster while making it stick with you for the rest of your life. You've probably heard of the popular quote that goes like, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. This quote is usually attributed to Albert Einstein. As whether he was the one who actually said this, I can't tell. Of course, there are no citations giving credit to Einstein for being the originator of this quote. And whether or not Einstein produced this quote, it seems to be one of the most powerful study advice anyone can ever get. The hack I'm going to teach you today revolves around this special quote, and it is called the Feynman's technique. Now, the Feynman's technique is an incredible way of learning and understanding concepts, named after the American physicist Richard Feynman. Richard Feynman's brilliance and ability to teach was unparalleled during his time. It was therefore of no surprise that he won the Nobel Prize in 1965 for his immense work in quantum mechanics and electrodynamics. His method of making complex concepts in physics look extremely simple through the use of examples, illustrations, and diagrams gave rise to the Feynman's technique, a technique that enables you to understand more of anything you want to learn in this world by teaching it in the simplest form as possible. The Feynman technique is incredibly useful when preparing for an exam. It interrupts forgetfulness and makes you sharp and ready for any exam. You can also learn anything new with this technique. It might take a bit of time at first, but you eventually grasp it. Maybe you hate the idea of teaching or probably suck at it. You can improve your teaching abilities through the use of the Feynman's technique. Now, based on the Feynman's technique, if you want to understand something really well, you have to explain it to someone, or at least pretend you are teaching it. Now, I know you are probably thinking that I'm suggesting you have to face a crowd or a group of people to make this technique work. No, that's not exactly what I mean. Unlike some materials you may have encountered online about the use of the Feynman's technique, I will show you a step-by-step process of applying this technique to make your learning experience better. The technique has 4 steps to it. The first step, step 1, write the name of the concept you want to learn on a piece of paper. Now, the concept could be anything at all you can think of. It does not necessarily have to be a science-related concept. Even though the first step says the concept should be written on a piece of paper, in reality, the first step is studying. If you are, for instance, learning a concept for the first time, you should prepare yourself and study everything you can about the concept. You can do this by using available textbooks, being present for lectures about the concept, and study online materials to get the much needed information you need. Now, in this step, do not bother yourself about trying so hard to keep everything you learn in memory. Calm your memory down, be effortful, immerse yourself in the study, and allow your memory capture seamlessly that which it can capture. And then you write the concept at the top of the paper. That's all for this step. Step 2. Explain the concept like a teacher. Now that you've studied the concept well enough and have written the name of the concept on a piece of paper, you then need to proceed by explaining everything you know about the concept on a piece of paper. At this point, you are a teacher, teaching your dumb imaginary self about the concept. If your imaginary self is dumb, you don't want to explain it using complex words or just quoting verbatim what you recently studied, right? Would you? You want to channel all that you've studied in your own words and breaking the components of whatever you've studied in the most simplest language as possible. Let's say, for instance, you want to understand the concept of development. After writing the concept on a piece of paper, you want to dissect into all parts of the concept and explain it in a simple and very comfortable way. No need to memorize. Just allow yourself to think deep and bring out all you know about it. You want to ensure that you've immersed yourself deep into the subject matter, that you're able to produce your own definitions for the concept, explain it to the best of your abilities, write about the challenges, the benefits of development, and possibly what can be done to induce development in any locality. The use of examples will help greatly in enabling you flow. In this step, you will obviously come across some difficulty in writing down some answers. When you do the following in the next step. Step 3. Identify the gaps in your explanations. So during the process of writing, you couldn't write some aspects of the concept probably because you were not able to understand it when studying it, or you simply forgot. Identify these gaps in your explanations and revisit your books or whatever materials you studied ahead of using this amazing study technique. Study these aspects you didn't understand. Come back to the paper and rewrite everything, this time filling in the gaps. It is not advisable to refer to the source material while writing. The use of this technique in ensuring you're able to explain concepts in your own words would be pointless if that is done. Step 4. Simplify and review. The last step of the Feynman's technique is to simplify explanation even further. Sometimes, we cover our lack of understanding of some concepts by the use of big vocabularies and terminologies. At this stage, you have to break all these complex terms down in the most elementary forms as possible. How do you do this? You do this by assuming you are teaching a 5-year-old kid. Drop down to the level of this kid and try explaining this concept to their level. The most likely question you will be asked by a kid when saying stuff beyond their level is, why? Why is it that this happens this way and that happens that way? When you ask yourself this question, why? It helps you further break down the concept you are trying to explain. As Richard Feynman puts it, there is no learning without having to pose a question, and a question requires doubt. At this stage, it is necessary to devise your own examples and illustrations to back up your teaching. Just like kids love stories, give a story in the form of an example to prove your point. Stories stick, and the fact that you are the originator of this story means that you will remember this concept forever. That's all on today's video about the Feynman's technique. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give us a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section what you think about the Feynman's technique. You can also consider subscribing to the channel as well.